Hello everyone, this is Calvin Castine. We're at the Adirondack Slow Pitch League field in West Plattsburgh at the West Plattsburgh American Legion for a game in the Adirondack League. A couple of teams I believe are tied for second place, or probably third place right now, because no, let's see, yes, they're tied for third place at the moment. The Legion post 16-19 just came away with a 13-0 win against U-Balls to move into sole possession of second. One of these teams will win here and move into a tie for second, and the other team will drop into third, make that fourth place. Very tight race. 3 games separate the top 5 clubs. Custom canvas in gray, and the home team today, High Falls Lounge, formerly the Redford River Rats. Both clubs 15-4 on the year. The batting order for the Canvas men. Gary Fassett will lead off, followed by Jim Wood, Art Guerin, Steve Chris, Glenn Fassett, Greg Fassett, Mark Rael, Scott McCormick, Dale Favreau, and Alan Fassett. We'll try to pick up the defense here as we look around at the High Falls Lounge team. Larry Pellerin, as usual, on the pitching rubber. Behind the plate, we see Roger Dubray. At first base, Pete Harrigan. Second base, Steve Siskavich. Shortstop, Todd Howard. Third base, Ricky Vaughn. In the outfield, we have Mike Burley, Dudley Dubray, Mike Rasco, and Larry Pellerin Jr. Umpires, Frank Darr behind the plate, and Steve Parker on the bases. Team manager Gary Fassett leads off the ball game with a foul down the third base line. Sun's starting to come out. There's a pitch from Pellerin. Sun was out for the 6:30 game, then disappeared toward the last couple innings. Now it's back out to greet us on a very, very pleasant 10th of July. Inside, 2-1. Jim Wood on deck. Strike 2. Pellerin delivers. Out of play, strike 3. Foul ball out of play, and a third strike is an out. Batter now, the Woodman, Jim Wood. And a pitch from Pellerin. Wood takes it inside. Ball 1. Art Guerin on deck. Strike 1-1. Hit deep to left field. Burley over in foul territory. Strike 2.
Come on, Jimmy. Come on, guys, let's go.
Larry Pellerin waits on his defense.
Make it happen, Jimmy. Make it happen, Jimmy.
And a pitch. Wood keeps it in fair territory. Singles to left center. Keith Dubray comes up firing, and Wood will stop at first. Brings up Custom Canvas's big home run threat, Art Guerin. And going through that batting order, we notice that Custom Canvas does not have their usual pitcher, Dan Caron, in the batting order. So Guerin will probably be pitching. Steve Chris on deck. Hit to left field. Burley grabs. 2 down. Wood advances to second. Brings up the cleanup man, Steve Chris. Pitch to Chris is in there. Strike 1. On the line to Burley, backing up over his head. This will score a run. Burley gets it in. Chris in with a double. Line shot. Burley couldn't get a bead on the arc on it. Didn't know exactly how deep it was going to come.
Granny, get him in, Granny, get him in,
And it's a double that scores a run, and it's 1-0.
Another duck out there, Glenny. Come on, guys. Come on, Bo.
And Glenn Facette steps in.
Glenn, gotta get him in. Come on.
2 outs here in the top of the first. He drills it. Nice catch at third base, Ricky Vaughn. We go to the bottom of the first with Custom Canvas leading High Falls Lounge 1-0. The defense for Custom Canvas: Art Guerin pitching, Dale Favreau behind the plate at first base, Gary Facette, second base, Alan Facette, shortstop Jim Wood, Steve Chris at third, in the outfield Glenn Facette, Scott McCormick, Greg Facette, and Mark Real. Keith Dudley Dubray leading off. He'll be followed by Mike Rasco, Roger Dubray, Pete Harrigan. I think I've been saying that Mike Burley was in right field, but Leroy Brown is in the batting order, so that's hit to Greg Facette, 1 down. So whoever's playing left field is not Mike Burley, the usual left fielder. So it's Keith Dubray, Mike Rasco, Roger Dubray, Pete Harrigan, Ricky Vaughn, Todd Howard, Steve Siskavich, Leroy Brown, Larry Pellerin Sr., followed by Larry Pellerin Jr. That's a base hit in the gap. And Rasco on with a single. Brings up the catcher, Roger Dubray. There's the pitch from Garand. Takes it deep, all 1. Inside, ball 2. Short, ball 3, 3-0. Pete Harrigan on deck. Strike, 3-1. Inside, just missed. Dubray draws the walk. The runners at first and second with 1 out. And Pete Harrigan stepping in.
Come on, Peter. Come on, Pete.
Pitch from Garand. Strike 1, hits the back. Outside corner. Harrigan drills it to deep left center. Going, gone. A 3-run home run for the first baseman. So Pete Harrigan got all of that, and he'll touch them all. And it's 3-1 with 1 down here in the bottom of the first. Batter now is Rick Vaughn, the third baseman. He drills it deep to left field. Glenn Facette takes it on the hop. Vaughn will be in at second with a double. Shortstop Todd Howard. Inside, ball 1. Strike, 1-1. It's going to drop in. Bond scores, yes. And Howard's going to end up at second. It's 4-1. Batter now, second baseman Steve Siskavich. Strike 1. Inside, 1-1. On the ground, into third. Chris will go to first. 2 down. Howard moves to third. Leroy Brown flies to Greg Fassett to end the inning. It's 4-1 after one full.
All right, guys, we got feet patient.
Greg Fassett leading off the second inning. Team down by 3. He looks at strike one from Larry Pellerin. And a base hit to center. Rascal picks it up. Fassett on with a single. Brings up the rat, Mark Rayel. Strike one. Rascal grabs, one down. Fassett fakes and comes back. Batter now Scott McCormick. We've checked in left field, and it's Leroy Brown playing left field. Rascal calling. Takes it in straightaway center for out number 2. Brings up the catcher Dale Favreau. Favreau swinging at the first pitch. Hits it to Howard. Howard goes to Saskavich. Gets away. Brings up Alan Fassett with the top of the order, Gary Fassett on deck. There's a strike. Strike 2. Fassett representing the potential tying run in this 4-1 ball game, with 2 outs in the top of the second. Hits it to Harrigan. Harrigan goes to Pellerin, covering for the out. So the custom canvas men are scoreless. In the second, it remains 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Larry Pellerin drives the first pitch in the bottom of the second into center field for a base hit. When the High Falls Lounge players introduce their teammates, they say, "Here's my teammate Larry Pellerin, and here's my other teammate Larry Pellerin." There's Larry Jr. 4-1. High Falls leading. That pitch just missed. We're in the bottom half of the second. Popped. Chris grabs, one down. Brings up the dud. Keith Dudley Dubray hits it to Chris. Chris goes to second. Nice scoop by Fassett. You get Larry Pellerin and Dudley Dubray on with the fielder's choice. 2 down. Batter now Mike Rasco. There's a pitch from Guerin. Outside. Ball 1. Strike 1-1. It's going to be out of play. Strike 2. Shows what I know. Glenn Fassett doesn't let a fence or anything else get in his way. A good, strong, hard ball player. Maybe too hard occasionally, but last year when K&L defeated these guys in a championship series in Game 7, Glenn Fassett was the first one over there to congratulate him after the game. Plays hard, but always willing to shake the hand of the team that beats them, too. It's still 4-1. We're going to the third inning. We're in the top of the third. It's 4-1. Gary Fassett, the batter. Singles to center. Yeah, brings up Jim Wood, the shortstop. Pops it. Out of play. Strike 1. Wood lines it through the left side. DuBray picks it up, fires a third, little high. And both runners will advance. So with nobody out in the top of the third, the potential tying run is at the plate. Back to Pellerin. Guerin is out at first. One out. Guerin looking for the base hit, not looking for the long ball. And brings up Steve Chris now.
Come on, Stevie! How do you feel? Come on, Stevie Chris!
Deep. And he drops it into left center. 2-run score. 2 runs batted in for Chris. It's a 4-3 ball game. This is the night the All-Star game is being played on TV, and Chris looks a little bit like Jose Canseco with that athletics hat on. Batter now, Glenn Fassett. Nobody out. Make that 1 out. 1 out. It's that singles. Brown gets it in. Runners at first and second.
First base! First base out!
Brings up Greg Fassett. Been a devoted team man at just about all the games. Doesn't get to play that often. When he plays, he does real well. And he always shows up. He drops this in the gap. Chris scores. I think DuBray thought that Brown was going to get it, and Brown thought DuBray was going to get it. It's 4-all with Mark Rayel lining to Harrigan. Everybody back just in time. Harrigan caught the liner and almost made a double play, but Fassett able to react in time. 2 down. And the batter is Scott McCormick. Deep. Ball 1. On the ground to second. Siskavich goes to second to Howard. We're tied 4-4. We're going to the bottom of the third. Catcher Roger DuBray leading off the bottom of the fourth. Glenn Fassett grabs. We have 1 down, and we're in the bottom of the third, not the fourth. First baseman Pete Harrigan will step in now. Deep. Ball 1.
Come on now, get in here.
Strike, 1-1. Rick Vaughn on deck. Short. Off the bottom of the bat. Chris fires to first in time to get Harrigan. 2 down. Brings up Ricky Vaughn. Ball 1. That's playable in left field. Glenn Fassett under it. Grabs for the 3rd out. It's 4-4 after 3 falls. Dale Favreau, first ball hitting. Flies out to start the 4th inning. And it brings up Alan Fassett, the second baseman. Fairly good crowd on this very pleasant July evening. Strike. 1-1 to count to Facette. Dropped into center field. Orozco throws to first, trying to throw behind a runner. Base runner on board with 1 out, and Gary Facette, the leadoff man. Hits it foul. Brown over at the fence. He made that nice catch across the fence in the last inning. And of course he didn't. It was Glenn Facette just testing to see if everyone was paying attention. It was Glenn Facette who reached across and grabbed a pop-up to end the second inning. That's in the gap. It's going to be a 5-4 game at least, and Gary Facette's going to stop at third as Alan Facette scores. Give the first baseman a triple. Brings up Jim Wood. He wastes a little time, lofts it high to left field, looking for the sacrifice. Brown will grab. In deep left field, Gary Facette will coast in easily, scoring run number 6 in a 6-4 ball game. And it brings up Art Garand, the pitcher. There's a pitch from Pellerin. Base it to left center. Dubray picks it up. Garand rounds. On with the single. Steve Chris, the batter now. Foul, strike 1. And pitch from Pellerin. Hit on the ground to second. Siskavich goes to Howard just in time. So Custom Canvas picks up 2. They lead 6-4. We go to the bottom half of the 4th.
Come on now. Watch the ball.
Shortstop Todd Howard will lead off here in the bottom half of the 4th. His team down by 2. It is battle for sole possession of, actually a battle for a tie for second place. The loser gets sole possession of 4th place. Chris fires to Facette for out number 1. And batter Steve Siskavich with Leroy Brown on deck. Strike 1. That's through. Siskavich singles, brings the potential tying run to the plate. Bad Leroy Brown, the left fielder.
Big hole out there, guys.
Ball 1. Drops in front of Greg Facette, gets a glove on it, slows it down. Throw cut off by Wood, and it's runners at the corners. And Larry Pellerin, number 1, steps in.
Get the box up there. Get your pet. Come on, Larry.
The pitch. On the ground, back to Guerin. Goes to second to first, double play. Oh, Custom Canvas turns 2-1, 4-3. And High Falls Lounge is scoreless. In the 4th, we go to the 5th inning with Custom Canvas leading 6-4. Another first ball hitter, Glenn Facette, flies out to start action in the 5th. I'm allowed 2.5 minutes to visit with the people in the stands, according to my union contract, and I usually like to use every second of that 2.5 minutes up. Greg Facette grounds to Larry Pellerin for out number 2. So the batter leading off an inning is usually in trouble if he swings at the first pitch as far as getting on TV. So 2 facets up, 2 facets down, and the Rat stepping up, Mark Rayel. 6-4 Custom Canvas leading High Falls Lounge. We just finished the U-Balls in the American Legion Pro 16-19 ball game prior to this one. Rayel drops it into right field. Gets away from Pellerin Jr. Rayel can run. He's going to round third. He's going to be sent. Here's a throw. He's going to be in with a home. Not a home run. It should have been a single. That makes it 7-4. And Scott McCormick, the batter now. 7-4. Here's a pitch from Pellerin. Strike 1. Two. And the pitch. Deep. 1 and 2.
Come on, Larry!
That's by Howard for a single. McCormick on at first. And the catcher Dale Favreau steps in. Through the middle for a base hit. Roscoe comes up firing. McCormick on at second. Favreau on at first. Alan Facette, the batter. And it's going to be a 3 Facette out inning. But Custom Canvas picks up another run. It's 7-4. Larry Pellerin Jr. making the catch. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Larry Pellerin Jr. will lead off the bottom of the 5th. Team down by 3. Here's a pitch from Guerin. Ball 1 inside. Back to Guerin. 1 down. Top of the order now, Keith Dudley Dubray. League president takes strike 1. Gets it to third. Chris, nice pickup. The first in time. Just in time. Nice pickup by Steve Chris at third. Fired to first just in time. Got Dubray by a fraction. Just a fraction of a step. And brings up Mike Rasco, the right center fielder.
Come on, Mike. You and Roger. Come down, guys.
Roger Dubray on deck.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Go.
Strike 1.
Let's go at 2. Now let's go at 2. Now come on. There, man. Come on, Mike. Bring her with 2.
On the ground to Gary Facette. Takes it unassisted. We go to the 6th. Custom Canvas leading High Falls 7-4. Sooner or later, these guys are going to catch on that you don't swing at that first pitch. Gary Facette is out. And usually when you do swing at that first pitch and the camera's not on yet, you're making out. So if any of you ball players are watching, do not swing at the first pitch when you're leading off an inning, because you're not going to be on TV and you're going to make an out. So 2 good reasons. Jim Wood hits it to third. Vaughn fires to first. 2 down. And stepping in now, Art Guerin.
Come on, Artie, again. Come on, Artie, again. Come on, now, Artie.
Pitch from Pellerin. Strike. Frank Dar behind the plate. Steve Parker on the bases. Strike 2. Steve Chris on deck. And the 0-2 pitch is taken deep. Ball 1.
Come on, Artie, Gary. Come on now.
Aaron lines it past Howard for a single. And he'll settle for 1. Steve Chris, third baseman, lines it to Vaughn for the out. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The score holding at Custom Canvas 7, High Falls Lounge 4.
Let's get him down here.
Roger Dubray, Pete Harrigan, and Ricky Vaughn with Todd Howard in the hole. These are the batters High Falls Lounge wants up there if they're going to get back in the ball game. So this is a big inning for both teams. Custom Canvas defensively and High Falls Lounge offensively. Is out. We may have had some language down below, and 1 out. Pete Harrigan, the batter. Strike 1. That's deep to left field. Going, gone. Harrigan hits his second home run of the ball game. He drove in the first 3 with a blast in the first inning. It's now 7-5. Rick Vaughn, the batter. Darren checks his defense.
Come on now. Get the train rolling, Rick. Come on, train rolling. Let's get the train rolling. Come on now, Rick.
And the pitch. Outside. Ball 1. Todd Howard on deck.
Uniball.
1-1.
Come on now. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick. Take care of it.
Playable. Is that under? We have 2 outs.
Come on, Howard. Let's go. 2. Come on, Howard.
Brings up shortstop Todd Howard.
Come on, Mark. Come on, Marky.
Real watches it go across the fence for strike 1. Darren delivers inside. 1-1. Steve Siskavich on deck. Ball 2. Straight away center. Craig Fassett makes an interesting catch out of it. And 7-5, we're going to the 7th. Glenn Fassett takes strike 1. Swings at the next offering, hits it to Vaughn. Nice play by the third baseman, fires to first. 1 down, top of the 7th inning. 2-run ball game, anybody's game. Greg Fassett steps in now, takes strike 1. Mark Rayel on deck. He bounces it, knocked down by Pellerin. Howard not going to get a chance, fires anyway. And Greg Fassett just barely beat it out. Had Howard fielded it cleanly, he would have had Fassett easily. But Howard couldn't find the handle. And on his second effort, he just missed getting Fassett. Brings up make that Mark Rayel. Strike 1. Straightaway center. Dubray under. 2 down. And Scott McCormick steps in now. First pitch to him is deep. Strike one. Deep in the strike zone, I should say. Strike one. Strike 2. That's through. Brown fires to third. Greg Facette is safe. McCormick stops at second on the throw to third. Brings up Dale Favreau, the catcher. There's a pitch from Pellerin. Deep. Ball 1. 7-5. Top of the 7th. Custom Canvas leading High Falls Lounge. Strike 1-1. Alan Facette on deck. Howard at short. Fires to Harrigan. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. With the Loungemen trailing by 2. This is it. Steve Siskavich leading off the top of the 7th. Team down by 2. Art Guerin cleaning up the pitching rubber. His team up by 2. Here's the pitch. Strike 1, says Frank Dyer. On deck, Leroy Brown to be followed by the Pellerin boys, senior and junior. Strike 2 out of play.
Nobody better. Nobody better.
Inside. Ball. 2-2 the count. Strike 3. Siskavich caught looking. Leroy Brown steps in with Mike Burley swinging a bat on deck. He's going to pinch hit for Larry Pellerin. Inside. No arc. Ball 2. One out. Ball 3. Strike 3-1. Strike 2. This hits the front corner of the plate. So Guerin works him to a payoff pitch. And delivers. Brown swings, hits it on the ground. Wood. Bat hop single. Bat hop single over Wood. Brown on. Brings the potential tying run to the plate, Mike Burley.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Nice swing now, Mike. Right in the hole, buddy. Nice swing. Punch her in the hole, buddy.
There's a pitch. Strike 1. 7-5. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. 1-1.
1-1. Contact, Mike. Contact, buddy. Swing the fry out, Mike. All right.
Out of play, strike 2. That one there, Glenn Facette should have had. He's happy about it, though, you can tell. Doesn't bother him any.
Now line drive, Mike. Now line drive, buddy. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Line drive, Mike. One ball, 2 strikes. Come on, Mike. Come on, guys. Come on. We're going to go right here. Okay, set. We're going. Come on, Mike.
Here's a pitch from Guerin. Dropped into right field. So a pinch hit single by Mike Burley brings up another pinch hitter, Tim Newell. Top of the order on deck.
He's batting for Larry.
Courtesy runner, Larry Pellerin. Actually just going back in the game.
Come on, Timmy! Come on, Timmy! Come on, Timmy! Nobody's there.
Pitch from Guerin to Newell. Strike one. Keith Dubray waiting on deck. Potential winning run at the plate. Tying run at first. McCormick grabs. Throw comes to second. Moves. Ball gets away at second, and a potential tying run moves to second base. Pellerin's the one that matters. Brown on at third is meaningless. Pellerin has to score to tie the game. Keith Dubray the batter. 2 outs. It's going to come down to the final batter. Guerin checks his defense. Delivers to Dubray. Strike one. It's the back of the mat. Mike Rasco on deck. Dubray lines it up the middle. This could score 2. Greg Fassett fires to second, and 2-run score. It's a 7-7 ball game. A clutch 2 RBI single for Keith Dubray, a leadoff man. Brings up Mike Rasco. Winning run at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Roger Dubray on deck. Hit to first. Fassett goes to Wood. He shut off momentarily to cough as Rasco had stepped out, but he stepped back in and swung at the next pitch. Hit it on the ground to Fassett at first. We go to the 8th inning, all tied, 7 up. Eighth inning. Alan Fassett leading off. Larry Pellerin back in. Foul ball. Tim Newell stayed in the game. He's in right field. Line shot back to Larry Pellerin. He grabs for the out. Have to start calling him the cat. Making moves like that. 1 down. Top of the order now for Custom Canvas, Gary Fassett. Strike one. He drives it through the left side. Just try to stretch it to 2. He does. Gary Fassett getting that extra base. And brings up Jim Wood, the shortstop. First pitch is hit through the left side. This should score a run. Throw comes to second. And it's an 8-7 ball game. Custom Canvas in the lead. Art Guerin the batter now. With the cleanup man on deck. Strike one. 1 out here in the 8th. On the ground to short. Howard will look to go 2. Saskavich to first. Close. Close. Close call at first. A little trouble getting out of the gloves there, and that could hurt him with the hard-hitting Steve Chris coming up. It's a big difference when you trail by 1 or trail by 3. Strike 1 to Chris. Short, 1-1. On the ground to Howard. Bat hop over his head. Dubray fires behind the runner. Throw to third, have a rundown. And Guerin is tagged out. So Keith Dubray threw behind the runner and picked off Guerin. Big play there. It's 8-7. We're going to the bottom half of the 8th with High Falls trailing Custom Canvas by 1. Roger Dubray, Pete Harrigan, and Ricky Vaughn with Todd Howard in the hole. These are the guys at High Falls Lounge. One up there, strike 2. Guerin coming right after him. 8-7. The score. Bouncer to Chris. The first, 1 down. Pete Harrigan, the batter. He's homered twice. Pitch from Guerin. Deep in the strike zone for strike 1. Hit deep to left field. Looks like Facette has a bead. 2 down. So High Falls again down to their final out. Ricky Vaughn, the batter. Todd Howard on deck. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. 8-7. Custom Canvas looking to move to 16-4. High Falls Lounge will move them to 15-5. Vaughn hits it to left center. Scott McCormick at the fence grabs it for the final out. So a couple of long fly balls end the ball game. And that's the way it was here in Adirondack. Slow pitch league action on this Tuesday evening, July 10th, 1990. Custom Canvas 8 and High Falls Lounge 7 in 8 innings.